All right, everybody. Welcome to RecTech Live. It's good to have you here. We got about 25 people logged on. Um, we've got 75 registered overall, so it's been a nice showing so far. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Russell. I manage RecTech Media, which is a consulting firm, and we operate some brands online that help inform recruiters and employers out there. Looking forward to spending some time today with you, talking about Facebook and how you can leverage it better for your content and reach. Just a quick bio on myself for those of you who don't know me. I've been in the digital recruiting space for about 18 years now. Started out in the job board world with my own job board company up here in Connecticut, and ran that for about 13 years until I sold it back in 2012. And after that, I became a recruiter for a couple of years, had a different startup as well. And I've learned a lot about, digital recruiting in that time frame. So whether it's, your job listings or your career site, I've built all kinds of different apps targeted towards, attracting candidates and websites, and done a little writing on the subject as well. So I kind of consider myself a digital recruiting guy. And today I help employers and RecTech vendors with their marketing strategy. So whether it's on the employer side with their help with their recruiting marketing, job descriptions, career site stuff, social recruiting, I do that. And I also help vendors in the space just in terms of their marketing strategy and messaging to employers as well. So I've been on both ends of the spectrum. So it kind of gives me a unique perspective on how all this works, how you use technology to attract talent. So, the reason I'm starting this new series is to really educate employers out there. In my travels, I just see a lot of need for helping recruiters and employers get better at attracting talent online. I see too many mistakes coming. They're making all the time, and it's time that we do a better job of educating ourselves. And so I want to put this series out there to help do that. Whether it's employer branding, job ads, your career site, there's all kinds of tactics and techniques you need to be using today to find talent better, because it's a thin market, so you're all competing for the same scraps out there, right? So today we're going to talk about the Facebook newsfeed and the changes that's happening to that, and how you can minimize the impact of that change in order to maximize your content reach. Okay, so that'll be kind of the subject of today's show. At the bottom of your screen, there's a Facebook newsfeed checklist. And that's a link to a PDF doc over on SlideShare. And if you look at that, you can actually follow along the conversation for today. It's kind of a checklist of what I'm going over today. So it's yours to keep as part of this, and it'll be a good reference point for you. It's got some links in there to stuff I'm talking about, and it's got kind of the bullet points of what I'll be covering today. So it's kind of a show guide, if you will. Generally speaking, just a few show notes before we get started. Generally speaking, I'm going to be holding these training classes on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Some will be free and some will be paid events. So, for example, next week I'll be doing Facebook Recruiting 101. It's my first paid course. So for an hour, we're going to go over all the basics of Facebook recruiting, from setting up your company page to using the Facebook job board to various different content strategies, types of content, and kind of looking all that on Facebook. It'll be a very hands-on event. I'll log into my Facebook account and we'll kind of go through all the different things you need to do to recruit on Facebook today, with a lot of live examples to give you some good reference points, because I think seeing is believing, and I want these shows to be very practical. So there'll be a lot of hands-on screen sharing with me as I kind of walk you through stuff. So I'm pretty excited about that. Already got a couple signups already for that course. It's $45. So if you are looking to get better at Facebook recruiting overall, I think that course will be a good one to tune into. And if you can't make it live, there's always the replay. So you can always pay to get access to the replay as well. All right. So we talked about that. If you are, I did hear from one person who's had a little problem with Crowdcast. So Crowdcast is a new platform. It only works on Chrome or Firefox. So if you're using IE, you need to get either Chrome or Firefox on board. That's what Crowdcast is telling me. So have those two browsers, and make sure you have the latest versions of those as well. Since Crowdcast is kind of on the bleeding edge here, they want you to have the latest browsers available. All right. See, on the March 8th, I'll be doing a Twitter recruiting course as well, Twitter Recruiting 101. That'll be a paid event as well. Then I'll be traveling, and a week after that, on the 22nd of March, we'll be talking about programmatic job advertising, how that works, what you need to do to get involved with that as an employer. We'll have the CEO of Job Addicts, Amit Chauhan, on, and we'll go over all the basics of programmatic job advertising, talk about some of the vendors out there, and you'll also get a demo of the Job Addicts platform as well, which is pretty cool. All right, so you got the download there. You can enter questions for me. So I'm going to talk for a few more minutes about some stuff. You can enter questions on the Ask a Question, which is at the bottom of your screen on Crowdcast. Put those in there, and I'll save the last 20 minutes for Q&A. I'll talk for about a half hour or so on the Facebook stuff overall. I'll try and follow the chat. I'm solo today, so if you need clarification on something quickly, you can try to throw it in the chat, and I'll see if I can answer it on the fly. But for the most part, put your answers in the Ask a Question, and I'll just kind of go through those one by one after I'm finished talking here. All right, so let me go to, let's get started. Get my checklist out. So the reason I wanted to do today's show was because, you know, Facebook is becoming an important part of, I think, an employer's attraction strategy online. Generally speaking, I'm a big believer in Facebook recruiting. If it's for positions that are, you know, entry level to mid level type of stuff, you know, your blue collar, construction, healthcare, retail, sales, admin stuff, customer service, those types of jobs generally do very well on Facebook, from what I've seen so far. And I think you have to pay attention to what Facebook does on a regular basis, because if you are using it for recruiting, then you know, you can optimize your strategies going forward here, because things always change on the web, no matter what. Whether you're running a job board or a social media platform, every year or so, or every 2 years, you have to kind of learn new tricks to optimize your use of it, right? So, so Facebook will soon be tweaking its algorithm to favor more friend and family content overall, over publishers with, you know, business pages. So that means employers. So if your company has a business page for either corporate or careers, this is going to affect you. And so I wanted to put out some tips out there to kind of optimize your Facebook use in order to kind of try to minimize that effect, like I said before. This is a quote from their recent blog post about the change. I want to read to you. It says, "Because space in newsfeed is limited, showing more posts from friends and family and updates that spark conversations mean we'll be showing less public content, including videos and other posts from publishers or businesses. As we make these updates, pages may see their reach, video watch time, and referral traffic decrease. The impact will vary from page to page, driven by factors including the type of content they produce and how people interact with it." So they have a blog post about this change, and that kind of sums it up pretty good in terms of why they're doing this, right? So Facebook is an ad platform. They want to keep people engaged. And so they're changing the algorithm to favor more of their friend and family content, again, to keep them more engaged and keep them on the site longer, because they rely on those ads. So I have about 7 things you can do to kind of counteract this reach right now. It's not a foolproof method to you know, go back to the old days, but these are, I think, good tips to optimize your content overall, your reach, right? Your reach is basically how many people see that post on Facebook. So you'll probably see that term a lot on the insights page of your Facebook stats. So the first thing we'll talk about is automation. So I'm a little torn about this one because I'm a big automator of social media content because it saves time. Let's be honest, it's a good time saver. And I know a lot of you out there probably already use social media tools like Buffer. I use Deliverit right now, MeetEdgar, Hootsuite, etc., to auto-publish jobs and any other blog content out there. So my advice right now is basically to reduce the amount of automation you're doing. If you don't have a lot of jobs that you're constantly pumping out, start to do those manually, essentially. Facebook's algorithm likes content that's directly uploaded into the platform, whether it's an image, a video, or link or text. If you manually post that piece of content to Facebook, it will get more reach automatically. All right, it favors that in the algorithm. So start to try and do more manual posting of your content overall, and rely less on automation. For some companies that have a lot of jobs, I realize that's kind of a pain. So one thing you could do is you could still automate it, but then you could also manually post a job with a different image or a different video attached to it, maybe, to kind of highlight those in your feed. Overall might be a good somewhat of a workaround for that. So and I think they're also cracking down on some auto posting as well. I own a couple of groups on Facebook that I manage, and I've been auto posting some jobs to those groups. And recently, Facebook, they put me in Facebook jail. Right? You've heard of LinkedIn jail? Well, guess what? Facebook has one too. So for about a week, I could not post anything into a Facebook group on the site. I could still post to my own page and my own feed, but I cannot post into a group because I think they were seeing some of the automation that I had connected to the accounts. So just be wary about that. I think they're cracking down more, especially with this whole Russia stuff and all that's going on with these social media channels. So be careful about the automation stuff. Maybe you want to dial back the automation. I know in Deliverit you can reduce the amount of posts that go out every day. You can actually limit that and specify a number. Instead of everything, you could set it to 10 or something like that. So start to think about that, how you can reduce the automation and just spend more time manually getting onto the site and posting content. That will, I think, help overall. Okay. Neil Patel, who's someone I follow in the marketing space, says that 80% of your updates should be social anyway. So start to put more pictures and videos of your employees up there. That's the type of content that does well on Facebook, right? Also things like memes, videos, of course, other people's career advice content are great. Quotes are great. Quotes are a pretty good, social media piece of content anyway, because they tend to get retweeted and shared a lot and stuff. So, start to look at your content strategy as well. I would highly encourage companies to, be more transparent as far as showing off their office environments, showing their people in action, and just getting more visual overall. I mean, the web is a visual place, and job seekers want to see what it's like to work there anyway. So the more you can, show off your environment, your culture, your employees, that's what job seekers want. They're dying to see this stuff because, until now it's all been hidden behind walls. But now with social media, you can put it out there and really, brand yourself as an interesting place. All right. Even if you don't have a cool office or whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you just show a little bit of, give them a little peek inside the organization, whether it's you're having an event or happy hour, whatever it is. I mean, don't be afraid to get out there and show off your people. I think more and more job seekers really gravitate toward that type of content overall. All right. Next, number 2 would be involve your team more. So in order to get more reach of your content, it's great if you have your employees share, like, and comment on that content. Okay. The more they do that, the more that piece of content tells the algorithm, hey, this is an interesting piece of content. It's being engaged with, right? People are liking it, they're sharing it, they're tagging people on it, right? So start to encourage your employees to get involved and start to follow your page, okay? Start to share that content. Not everyone's going to do it, but if you start to internally promote the Facebook page to your employees, it will help overall. Okay, it's definitely a strategy, a long-term strategy you should be using overall. There are a couple of tools out there, like a Q Social, which is owned by Symphony Talent, that will help you amplify your reach on Facebook through your employees. Another one's called FernPlay, fernplay.com. I'm actually an advisor of theirs. And they kind of gamify the process a little bit, where you push out content, it goes out to your social media advocates on the platform, your employees, and they then share that with their audience, right? So I think at least for your recruiting team, maybe people on the marketing staff, start there first, start to get them involved, and start to spread the word through your own employees by amplifying the message that you're putting out there on the Facebook post. You can leverage your employees to make that piece of content more engaging overall. Okay, so definitely start to involve them more. Again, liking, sharing, commenting. Those are the top 3 things you want them doing with each of those posts. So start to encourage that internally overall. And if you have the budget, think about some kind of software like Q Social or FernPlay around that to do it. Okay. The other thing you can do is you can cross promote your Facebook page on your other channels, right? I think that's a perfect piece of what I would call evergreen content, right? So once a week, post it on, say, go onto your LinkedIn page and say, hey, follow us on Facebook. Go onto your Twitter page, follow us on Facebook. Repeat that on a weekly basis on your other channels. That will drive traffic to your Facebook page and, again, increase the overall reach of your posts in the long run. So definitely want to encourage the crossover stuff, and vice versa with the other channels as well. On your Facebook page, have them follow you on LinkedIn, have them follow you on Twitter as well. So that's 3 pieces of content that you should always be sharing on a regular basis across your social media channels overall. All right. Thirdly, and this is one that's going to hurt your pocketbook, but you're going to have to advertise more. All right. Facebook is making this change in part to get more ad dollars. So they want businesses to spend more on promoting their content overall. So if you don't have a budget yet, I would highly encourage you to look at Facebook advertising. That's actually something I help employers with at RecTech Media. If you have a budget of $1,000 or more, we can definitely put a campaign together for you and promote your jobs and or your other content that you're producing. But start to think about a budget for Facebook overall and boost your posts, because the targeting of Facebook is really great. You can get down to the job title level. And I think for between maybe $300 to $500 per job, you could actually drive a hire, I think, from all the testing I've done and work I've done with past employers. I think around somewhere between $300 to $500 per job is probably a type of budget you'd be looking at, right? So start to consider ways to advertise on Facebook. It is a little bit daunting, if you've never done it before, their ad manager can be a little bit complicated sometimes. It's taken me a while to learn it, and I'm still learning it myself. And they're still tweaking things on there as well. But advertising, to me, should be part of any employer's digital recruiting strategy overall, because of the targeting aspects of Facebook and what it can do. And again, especially for the entry level to mid-level type positions, it's great for. And I think you can make hires off of it. So consider that as part of your new strategy, and go forward. Never buy likes to your page anymore. Those are basically worthless because of the algorithm change. So when you're doing a Facebook ad, you want to basically buy traffic, and that's one of the options they give you. right? So that's the only thing you really want is traffic to your job posting. So when you're buying an ad on Facebook, send them to your page, unless you want to do some stuff like collecting lead gen. So you can actually create a little form within the Facebook ad platform and collect phone numbers and emails, things like that. So I've seen a couple of trucking companies do that with some of their advertising. So instead of just taking them off to a link somewhere and to apply, they'll actually just capture the basic information: phone number, name, email, maybe location, and use that as kind of their lead gen. So definitely experiment with Facebook ads and start to put a budget towards it overall. All right. I want to share my screen now because I want to go into Facebook and show you a few more things that you can use, right? So let me do that first. Okay, you should see my Facebook page. Can just in the chat, can you guys see the screen? I want to make sure you're on it. Awesome. Okay. How am I doing so far? Am I going too fast? Give me some feedback. Page is a little blurry. All right. Thanks, Aaron. Let me try and make it bigger. All right. So here's a little trick you can use to get people to prioritize your content. So this is something I don't think most people know about, and it's a setting in Facebook on the newsfeed. So on the left-hand side, if you're on desktop, you click the little three dots here, and you're going to go to Edit Preferences. And in those preferences, you can do a few things. The first thing is what we're looking at here: prioritize who to see first. So this actually will, once you click it, will give you a list of all the pages that you're following on Facebook. And so you can see here I've chosen my own sites, Recruiting Headlines. I'm going to do Job Fairing 2, RecTech Media, and such. And so once I hit done, those pages will then show up first on my Facebook feed. And so you can see here, my Facebook feed just popped up. I'm seeing posts from Recruiting Headlines first. Okay, and it's got a little star next to it. I chose to see those first. So the tip is basically instruct your followers to do the exact same thing. All right. If you do it, let's say once a week, if you show them these instructions, maybe through a couple of screenshots, and you post that on your Facebook page on a regular basis, like once a week, they will start to do this, right? Not everyone will, but it's a way for both your employees to follow your page more easily, and your fans. So instruct them to do this, because you can get, I don't know, 5 or 10% conversion maybe out of this. I know for me, I mean, I want to see certain posts first always, right? So I want that choice, and that particular feature gives it to them. So create a couple of screenshots, put that as kind of evergreen content, share it with your employees, put it out in an email, whatever you got to do, but promote that feature, because that will in turn boost your reach overall. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing to do, and it guarantees your post is going to show up on that person's feed. So that's one of the first. That's a great workaround, and something that everybody who has a Facebook page should be doing anyway, right? They should be sharing that information with their fans. Okay. The next thing would be increasing your use of groups. So I'm sure some of you are on groups today. I belong to probably 200 plus groups on Facebook right now. Some of them are recruiting related. Some of them are job search related. There's actually job search groups for literally every city and state out there. I happen to be an admin for a couple of them: CT Job Posts, Indiana Jobs, and Washington State Job Board. These are basically mini job boards inside of Facebook, as I call them. All right, they are places where both recruiters and job seekers go to share jobs and look for jobs. Now, some groups are better than others. Some groups are bigger than others. I think there's a Chicago group I belong to that has like 20,000 members, right? And the group content is treated differently in the Facebook algorithm, from what I understand. So I think that if you share your posts in the Facebook groups, they are more likely to be seen as well. And so that's another way, another tactic you can use to get more reach to your post. So from your company page, just share that post, choose groups. If you don't know how to do it, it's pretty simple. You have to kind of just share it to a page, right? So for instance, I share a lot of my job fairs that come onto jobfairing.com. By the way, listeners, this is a free search engine for your hiring events. So if you are having an open house or job fair, you can post it up on jobfairing.com for free and get some more exposure for it. And if you want, we'll also advertise it for you on Facebook as well for 10, 20, 30 days. But here's a recent one. So I can share this into a group just by clicking share. I'm going to go up here to this share in a group and type in Minneapolis and post it in there. All right. So that's a simple way to drive strategy, to drive reach to that post, to drive clicks. You'll share your page name there. You'll get a few more followers. Groups are a fantastic way to get traffic. I mean, a couple years ago, I shared something in a Detroit job search group about a GM plant that was hiring. I did a blog post, excuse me, did a blog post about a GM plant that was about to hire. And the people in this group went crazy for it. They started tagging their friends. And I got like, I don't know, probably 10,000 visitors in one day to that page on my site. I mean, that's the power of what, once you go viral on Facebook, that can do. So start to join your local groups in your towns and cities that you hire in, and become a part of that community as well. Don't go spamming the groups. 1 or 2 posts a day is all you need to do. But if you do it on a regular basis, it will consistently drive traffic back to that job listing overall. Okay. You'll pick up some followers. It'll increase the reach of that post. What you'll find a lot is people tagging their friends on jobs a lot, I see. They kind of alert their friends to a job opportunity. So it's like a Facebook job alert. It's kind of an organic thing that happens with some types of jobs and job events on the platform itself. So it's kind of an interesting phenomenon. I think that doesn't happen on LinkedIn or on Twitter as much as it does on Facebook in these groups. So there's a lot of tagging going on with friends alerting their other friends to different opportunities. So leverage the groups out there. The way to find them is pretty, you have to do some keyword searches. So you all like keywords, right? So Chicago, right? So let's see what we got here. I'm going to click over to the groups tab. So this one here is a big group. Here's one here. It tells you how many people are on them. This one's got almost 4,000 members, 12,000 members, So the bigger they are, the better they are overall. Some groups are kind of spammy. There's a lot of work at home crap that's going in there. But try and avoid those. I would stick to the ones that are like 1,000 members or more as a general rule. You want to also search for things like Chicago hiring, Chicago career, Chicago employment, those types of keywords. So go to your city, type in your city or state and look for those different groups you can join. You can join hundreds of groups. There's no limit, I don't think. I've seen people that have 5,000 groups they belong to. So I'm not sure what the threshold is, but it's pretty high. Unlike LinkedIn, where I think it was 100 at one point on LinkedIn, I believe. So definitely start sharing your content more in the groups, and that will also increase its reach and leverage more. You'll get more traffic out of that posting as well. All right, a couple more things. Embracing video. You guys got to do a better job of using video on social media today. Can I get a woo woo? I know Audrey would second that. There you go. Let me show you. So there's a couple of tools I use to create video that are basically free. And I'm not talking about, doing a live video shoot with all your employees. You don't need to do that, guys. You can actually get cheap and dirty and use inexpensive video tools to make your posts more engaging. Video is the best performing type of content on Facebook by far, and they want more of it, right? They're trying to go after the YouTubes of the world, so they want more video content, right? So a video should perform better than any other piece of content you can put on Facebook today. So, you could go a step further, say, hey, everything you should be posting on Facebook should be a video. I mean, it'd be worth a shot to try that for a week and see what kind of reach and engagement you get. So a couple tools I use are these. So this is Legend. It's I'm an Apple user, so it's on iOS and Android, I believe. It's a free app, and it takes 100 characters of text and turns it into moving words in all kinds of different templates and stuff like that. So to show you a quick example of that, let me go back to my job fairing page. And I've done a bunch of these for some featured job fairs that we've gotten on the site itself. So if I'm going to go to my video tab. All right. So these videos down here are all, mostly all from Legend. So here's one here for one. I'll play this for you. There's no music, but it's basically it's like an animated GIF almost. All right. So I post that along with the link to the job fair, and then I advertise that. And that one's gotten like 2,000 views from the ad itself. It is an amazing tool, guys. I mean, it's a great social media, amplifier, basically, right? You can see another one here. It's got different templates you can use. You type in the text, and it creates the actual template. You choose from a bunch of different colors. You can see here. These are all Legend ones. This one here is from Ripple, which is my other favorite tool. Okay, so I'll show you that one in a second. Let me just play this. So on Ripple, you upload photos, and it creates a SlideShare video out of it with music and with your logo. And it's $10 a month. It's got all kinds of different templates to use. Ripple, R-I-P-I-L. Here's the, it's ripple.com, R-I-P-I-L.com, right? It's an awesome tool. Pay the $10 because it's totally worth it. Creates about a 30-second video for you. You can put up to 12 pictures in the actual video. And it also connects to your social media accounts within the app, so you can actually push out easily. You can save it as I think it saves as an MP4 movie file. But look at me, it's really cool to use. So definitely start to use more video, right? So you can take pictures of your office and make a great looking video for $10. I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, it's great looking stuff. It looks very professional. You can add your logo to it. So you can have your own branding. If you combine it with stuff like, if you like on Vimeo, if you pay the premium account on Vimeo, you can actually put in a URL at the end and link them off to your career site and stuff like that. So it's a great little tool to get more reach. More people will see that video if you start using stuff like this. Yep, RIPL, Aaron. All right. The other thing you can also try doing is live streaming. Most of you probably wouldn't like that, but live streaming will ping all your followers that you're going live. So if you do want something that needs a lot of attention fast, try a live stream if you're comfortable with that as well. So again, they want more content, more video content. So I think it's your job as employers to at least give them some of that on a somewhat regular basis. Let me show you one other. I saved one video that I saw. I saw a Ripple video in the wild from another company, which is Air Wisconsin, and I saved that here. So here's one I found in the wild. This is a Ripple ad. This one doesn't have any sound for some reason. There's also an option for photo slideshow video with music. Oh, on Facebook, I didn't know that. Where do you do that, Audra? Yeah, in Ripple they have like tons of just like kind of raw stock audio music that you just choose from like chill stuff to like jazz tune or whatever. It's really good. I mean, I love the tool. It's something I think it's a must-have for any recruitment marketer today. Just click share a photo or video. It's an option. Okay. Also, when you're uploading the videos, you have to tag them and describe them as well, just like you do on a YouTube. So make sure you add information in there around it itself. If I'm looking at, let me go over to recruiting headlines here, videos. All right, so I did this one yesterday, and this is from Legend, so just a very simple thing. So I use it to call out stuff, right? That video is better than just posting a link or an image with it. Here's another example, right? And you can also, on Legend, you can actually upload a photo behind it if you don't want to use their backgrounds, right? So like with this one here, I threw a calendar behind there and put it up. So make sure you're tagging the video with tags, describing. You give it a title and give it a description as well, and make sure you include your link in there as well inside the video description. It's important. Okay, we do not have time, so it's 1:38. And then the last thing I want to talk about today is timing and frequency of posting. Something that if you get better at, you can increase the reach overall. So I did a lot of research on this. There's lots of different studies on like the best times to post on Facebook. There's no general, I mean, there's no one set time, right? But what I found in my own experience and just from reading these different studies are the best times are like 1 to 4 p.m. and later in the week. So, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday-ish. I generally like to post stuff like 3, 4, 5 p.m. As people are winding up work and going onto Facebook and stuff. I just have my gut says later in the day and later in the week overall the best times to post. There was one study talked about Sunday and weekends being the highest engagement rates, right? So more commenting, more shares and stuff like that on the weekends. I don't post anything on Saturdays. Maybe Sunday afternoons, Sunday evenings might be good to try out. So maybe schedule some posts on a Sunday night and see how your reach does. And you're gonna have to do some experimenting here. I think you're gonna have to track the the stats on this to find out what works best for you. Just remember that this is a great stat I found. 80% of the U.S. population is in the Eastern or Central time zone. Right, 80%. So most of the people are on East Coast time and Central time. Right, so that's when you should be, I think, concentrating your posts overall, particularly if you're hiring in those regions, right? Obviously, if you're on Pacific, it's different, but if you're on the East Coast and you're hiring, you should be doing it later in the afternoon. That way, you can also hit the people on the Pacific, as well. So that's your maximum coverage time, I think. Am I the only one that is attempting to Facebook message something to Chris? All right, none of that, guys. Who said that? Audra. You're bad, Audra. Let's see here. Frequency. Another thing I read recently was that the number of times you post in your Facebook page is also a factor of its reach. I read one article that said you should only post 2 or 3 times a week, which I thought was very low. I didn't understand why it was such a low frequency. My advice would be 3 to 5 times a day is okay. If it's a couple jobs in there and a couple pieces of interesting content, that's what I would go for. Because in the employment area, I think it might be a little bit different than your average retail outlet or whatever it is that's posting stuff on Facebook to go buy something, right? You're not necessarily selling something, you're sharing something that's of interest to your followers. At least you should be. Never just post jobs onto your Facebook page. Career advice, memes. Here's a great meme. I got a great meme story for you here. Let me go find it. So last year I was doing a lot of work with a job board in Maine called Jobs in Maine. And I kind of restarted their social media stuff for them, which had gone dormant. And so I went out, I found a bunch of memes I thought were hilarious, and I posted them out there onto their page. So this one here is from Office Space. You guys probably recognize this one. Yeah, we're going to be short-staffed today, so if you could just go ahead and do the work of 3, that would be great, right? So that particular post has been seen 30,000 times on their accounts. It's gotten like 600 comments. No, sorry, 200 comments, 600 likes. And it's still being tagged today, even though I posted this back in April of 2017. All right, so it's a free piece of content I went out there and found. You can make these on your own as well if you want to. But memes are also really good at getting attention. So this is a great example of a content that got really great engagement, that the algorithm picked up. People started, sharing and tagging their friends on it. I'm not logged in as an admin, so you can't see the comments or anything, but it's pretty hilarious. So memes like that work great. Hey. So look for memes to use. I mean, it's basically free content you can grab. Nobody owns the memes really. So thank you, Audrey. What do we got here? Create a slideshow. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'll have to try that. Good tip. Awesome. And these are some of the ads you can make in when you're doing your ads as well. You can create a carousel, just a regular image, and stuff like that too. So good tip, Audrey. Thanks. All right. Let's see. So 3 to 5 times a day, I think is okay for an employer as far as number of pieces of content. Reduce the automation, more video, increase your use of groups. Again, the prioritize content trick in the newsfeed settings, definitely key. Get your team involved and start to advertise more. That's how you're going to minimize the effects of this new algorithm and maximize your reach overall. So that's kind of what I got for today. So I appreciate the attendance. I created a shortcut for all my shows. It's called rectechlive.com. I'll put that in the chat in a second. So next show is a paid event next week, Facebook Recruiting 101. I'll go into a much deeper dive on content, on creating your page, little tips and tricks. We'll dive into the Facebook job section. I'll show you how that works as well, which I think is interesting. And so hope to see you there. After that, I'll probably do a Twitter Recruiting 101 course the following week as well. So all the shows will be available via replay. So you can go back and easily find them again and watch them. Let me go back to Crowdcast here and stop sharing my screen. Yeah, only boost posts that do well organically first, right? That's a good tip. I forgot to mention. So if you do have a post that's getting some traction already, organically, by advertising that, it'll spiral that boost upwards. It'll get much more engagement after that, right? So that's the type of advertising that's also good, is ones that already have organic engagement. They do really well, right? So like with that meme, I should have advertised it more. I would have got even more likes and shares and stuff, right? So let's see, nobody asked any questions. Okay. What else you guys want to talk about? I got about 15 minutes here left. What what are your thoughts on hashtags and posts on Facebook? One or two, if I'm working with the state of Connecticut now, so I'm just doing I'm using two hashtags basically, which is hashtag CT jobs and hashtag make an impact, which is their employer value proposition. So that's kind of what I stick with there. You don't need a lot of Facebooks on a lot of hashtags on Facebook. I've experimented that too. I've tried to do like Instagram type hashtags. We have 30, but I don't think it really helps that much. So just stick to like the type of job it is, and maybe a few other industry related hashtags that might go along with that job. Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, they're clickable, so I think if they see them, they might click on them. They don't search for them necessarily. Yep. Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you guys showing up. We got about 32 people on the live call. 80 people registered. So I'm looking forward to doing more of this. You're welcome, Kathy. Yeah, tell me, give me some feedback here. I hope you learned a lot, and I just want to kind of educate you guys. It's important to keep up with all this stuff because as recruiting marketers, things are always changing on these sites, and so it's imperative that you stay up to date on all the latest tips and tricks. And appreciate y'all coming out today. Hope to see you next week. Yeah, maybe we'll. I'm not gonna do a Snapchat. I'm not a big Snapchatter, but I might do an Instagram one. There's not a whole lot you can do with Instagram. There's only a few things you can do really. So I'll probably do a free course on that one overall. But yeah, I'll probably get to Instagram at some point. But the Twitter one I think will be a good course because I think there's a bunch of things you can do on there from a branding standpoint, from a sourcing standpoint, and just traffic generation standpoint. So I want to cover a lot of those tips and tricks in an actual course overall. Yeah, McDonald. I mean, if Snapchat were smart, they'd basically come out with their own like job apply thing in there, so people can Snapplicate automatically. But yeah, it's I'm not a big Snapchatter. I Snapchat like once a quarter probably. Still learning, yeah. It's not the easiest platform to learn either for us older folks, right? Faces, yeah. Yes, the checklist is on the Facebook newsfeed. I'll put the link in the show note here. So here's a link to the Facebook checklist. It's on SlideShare. You're welcome. All right, who wants to create content disappears, right? All you can do on Snapchat is create stories, I guess, for your brand, right? So you can do that on the other channels as well. And there is such a thing as too many social media sites for employers. So just stick to the big three. You can add Instagram if you're on there, but Instagram itself doesn't drive a lot of traffic because it's not built for that. So it's more for branding, by far by anything. So what you got, Aaron? Edit preferences. Yep. Only be on the ones where your employees. Exactly. Yeah. Wherever your employees are, that's where you should go. Do you think in our circle social course will be diminished? What do you mean, Dave? It's a new algorithm. So everyone's going to be affected by this new algorithm. There's just no way around it, right? So the tips I give you today should hopefully help to counteract some of that, diminishment, right? But you have to be proactive about it. You have to proactively do these tips in order to get a higher reach of your posts. Wish the pics were better. We use it corporately. Yep. Again, get your employees involved. I think that's one of the bigger keys today. I talked about is getting them involved. If you've got even 2 or 3 or 4 people just resharing that stuff, that's a big boost to that post in the algorithm. So it'll definitely be seen more overall. And it works the same way on LinkedIn. Have your employees on LinkedIn do the same thing. And tag companies and other people that you're talking about in the post. That's also a great tip in terms of just getting more reach, because then they'll get tagged. They'll share that content as well. So I do that a lot especially on LinkedIn and even on Facebook today with my recruiting news site. I'll tag the company mentioned in it, and that will also help to increase the boost in the reach. So there's rumors of separate fee for business pages. Could be. Yep. That would be nice. A lot of companies, I've got 2 accounts for Facebook, even though you're not supposed to, but a lot of companies will some people will like to do that, separate their person. Yeah, I think you have to sometimes. You can't. Some people just don't want to share their Facebook stuff. I don't mind because I'm more of a marketer, but who would go on that feed, right? Yep. Nice. All right, guys. Well, my voice is getting hoarse, and I gotta go walk the dog. All right, guys. Cheers, and see you next week.